from Mountain Rose Herbs. As you know by now, I've been making lots of how-to herbal videos, and there's many more great ones to come. But when the folks at Mountain Rose Herbs recently said, "John, we'd love a video on how to sprout," I'll admit I was a little stumped. So rather than pretend I'm an expert here, I thought I'd bring you along on my little experiment so you can actually see how incredibly simple this really is. Because if I can do it, you surely can do it. So Mountain Rose Herbs loaded me up with lots of seeds and 3 different ways to sprout them, all with pretty inexpensive products that they carry, so I'm going to give you my little reviews as well. Alright, so let's see what we come up with. The main reason a lot of folks make their own sprouts is that it's a cheap and simple way to get a nutritious food into their diets. Also, if you're watching this, you probably like to grow things, and it's a way you can grow your own food year-round right in your own kitchen, no matter where you live. As you might suspect, there's lots of types of seeds you can sprout, such as buckwheat, red clover, chia, alfalfa, lentils, fenugreek, broccoli, mustard, and a lot more. In my experiment here, I'm going to use red clover. Red clover is wonderfully nutritious, has a nice flavor, and it's also readily available in many stores. So my first experiment was to use the most common way of sprouting seeds. The good old-fashioned quart mason jar and one of these little sprout screens. These jars are available at any supermarket or hardware store, and the little screen, Mountain Rose Herbs carries those. You use this screen on the gold bands that the quart jars come with, and they screw right on. Okay, first you need to soak your seeds. So we've got our jar, and I've got my cool little screen and the screw band. You know, I've also seen these in stores. They make like plastic ones and stuff too. Alright, so I'm going to take my red clover seeds, and I'm going to put 4 tablespoons. Every type of seed you sprout will vary depending on the size of the seed or the size of the contraption you're using. But we're just starting out doing the basic intro lesson here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to secure the screen on the jar. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is just get some water and strain this out real quick. And I just added that water and swirled it and strained it just to clean the seeds off and all. And then I added a cup of water, which is a quarter of this jar. It's a quart jar, so a cup of water. And it's easy to measure. What I'm going to do is just simply put this on the windowsill or someplace and just let this soak for 4 to 8 hours. Some folks will just do it before they go to bed and let them soak overnight. Okay, now 4 to 8 hours later or the next morning, you simply just turn this over and strain out the water. Then all you're going to do next is swirl some water in there, pour it out, and you're going to do this twice a day, like maybe breakfast and in the evening until they're finished sprouting. And what I noticed it was really effective, I kind of left it on the windowsill, and I kind of left it horizontal here. I shook them out and let them grow horizontally like this. And then let's put them on the windowsill and see what happens in about 4 days. Now, after about 4 days of twice a day, pouring water in here and rinsing and draining it out, and then just leveling it out and putting it back on the windowsill, I yielded a whole jar of beautiful sprouts. Now I'm going to pour this out into a bowl so you can see how beautiful they look. So I had a few jars gone at once, so I poured them all out in the bowl here. If you want to store these, just put them back in the jar even, and just put the lid the mason jar came with and put it there in the fridge. And you can enjoy these on salad or sandwich or just by themselves. Something to note too is that you could play around with the amount of seeds, until you get it right when you're starting out. Like on these, I said, as an experiment, I put the 4 tablespoons in, and I probably would have done better with about 3 tablespoons or so, but it's all an experiment. But hey, even with that, I got some beautiful sprouts. I will go over the other 2 methods briefly. There's the Sprout Man's Hemp Sprout Bag, and this is really quite easy to use and is useful if you have some extra kitchen cabinet hooks or knobs to use. Now the Sprout Man Hemp Bag is pretty cool. So what you do first is you soak the seeds in a jar. Doesn't matter if you cover it with whatever. The same exact way you did with the jar method, and you let it soak once again for 4 to 8 hours. And on the side, you're pre-moistening one of your bags, okay? You don't need a lot of bags. You can just start out with one bag. They're only like 13, 14 bucks or something. And so you basically take those sprouts that you had in the jar soaking and pour them directly into the Sprout Man bag, and you rinse it, and then you just hang this up on a knob or a hook and let it drip into a container or something. And then just like twice a day with the jar, when you were swishing it around and draining it, you do the same thing here, where you just submerge your sprouts into some water for about 30 seconds or so. Then you just put that back up on the hook and let it drip again. And you just do that for a few days. What's nice about the bag is that it airs things out, and you can fit a lot in there. And it seemed like I had a much better sprout rate with it. So these were red lentils and that we had going here, and they still have a little, maybe, they're about ready to go. I could eat these and rinse those off and eat them up. Also, these bags last a very long time. It's inexpensive, and work-wise, it's about the same as the jar. It also comes with instructions, so if you do this method, refer to them for details. So finally, there's the Miracle Sprouter here. On mountainroseherbs.com, it's labeled as the Sprouting Kit. If you find you were really into sprouts and you're also super lazy, then maybe this is for you. You need to follow the included instructions, of course. For these seeds, I just put them in one of these trays here and just fill this up with water, pretty much just on the first and the fourth day, and it just trickles through slowly. And you need to empty the bottom tray after the water passes through. And after 5 days or so, you also get some wonderful sprouts. You just rinse them and eat them. And as with all methods, you refrigerate them, and then you just eat them until they're done. So you can have multiple, what's neat about this is you can have multiple seeds and types of seeds and sprouts going all at once. So it's pretty efficient and works well. So which method did I like the best? Find out next time on the, no, just kidding. I really think it depends on how into this you get. I'm sure you'll try these different methods should you find yourself consuming a lot of sprouts. Like if you eat a lot of these all the time, you're probably going to be trying different ways to try to find the most efficient way. However, if you are just starting out, I think the jar method is a great way to go because it's cheap, it's simple, and you grow just enough to see if sprouting is for you. However, if you want to be more adventurous, you have all these other methods and they all work great. On mountainroseherbs.com, there is a sprouting seed section with loads of organic seeds to sprout and a link there to sprouting tools. And there's also this really cool chart which teaches you all the different sprouts, growing guidelines, amounts, amount of time to soak and when they're ready and the skill level. So now it's time to take these sprouts, these and some of these, and make myself a sandwich, or maybe I'll just hang out here and graze a while. Happy sprouting.